Gregson's dead now? Unless you were thinking of summoning a ghost to the stand?
Darn it, we don't have any spirit mediums in this game, do we? Where's Maya when you need her? Ooh, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the Story-Driven Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are hopping back into the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time, we had Judge Jigoku on the stand for questioning. We had to prove that he was the one who actually killed Gregson, and he put up a good fight. He was definitely intimidating, an intimidating presence. He also knew, obviously he's a judge, so he knew about the law and what to say and what not to say. But we got him in the end, that he did kill Gregson on the ship. Because of his status, he was able to, his baggage wasn't checked, so he was able to put Gregson in his big trunk, carry him to, the location where he knew Gregson was going to meet Vigil. And, so his plan was to, dump the body there, obviously mess with the crime scene to make it seem like the crime had just happened, and he was going to frame Mr. Vigil for the crime, since that was the guy he was meeting. But, Van Zykes ended up getting involved, and plans changed. As you can see, he's our guilty, or accused party. So now we have Van Zykes up, and he's going to talk about the Reaper and the Assassin exchange. I've never taken the life of another, nor have I instructed another to kill. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years, and I was aware of Gregson's involvement. That's the reason why I went to Fresno Street that day, and how I came to discover the body. The point is, no common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson. Clearly, therefore, there's no reason to suspect me of being behind the assassin exchange. Right, so he's trying to defend himself because... Yeah, at the very end of the episode, Kazuma... We know that there's... Jigoku was, I guess, the leader on the Japanese side. Because we know that one assassin from Japan was sent to Britain, and one assassin from Britain was sent to Japan. Right, we know the two... We discovered that the two assassins are Kazuma and Shin. So we know that much, and we know Jigoku was the head of the Japanese side, but we still don't know the head of the British side. And he seems to have more power, because Jigoku seems actually scared of him. Like I said, I think there's a very high probability it could be Strongheart. I was even thinking it could be Kaden, but I still think my money's still on Strongheart being the head of this this whole Reaper business, at least on the British side. So now, but Kazuma is trying to convince the court that Van Zykes is that leader from Britain. So that's what he's trying to convince us now, or speak on.
So you deny all accusations by the prosecution? Both that you are the Reaper of the Bailey, and that you masterminded the assassin exchange.
I acknowledge that the public at large believe me to be the Reaper. However, that's a fallacy, which I alone am in a position to forswear. Naturally, the prosecution believes the testimony just given by the accused to be untrue. You don't say. Ryunosuke Naruhodo? Yes? Let me ask you, why are you here? What really brings you to this courtroom? To discover the truth. That's my answer. I knew it. A desire to uncover the truth. Even if the truth proves your client to be guilty. Yes. That's how it always goes. But I do not believe he's guilty, so... From all my experiences in this courtroom, I've come to realize something. The truth can't be hidden. Sooner or later, it will come out. Fine, I did it. You weren't supposed to say that, Van Zykes. So it's always my intention to work with my client in pursuit of the truth. Wise answer. I respect that. I want you to remember what you just said.
Enough dilatory chatter. Counsel for the defense. Proceed to cross-examine the witness.
Yes, my lord. Whatever you say, my lord. I know exactly what you're thinking, Kazuma. I know you're just waiting to point it out. The contradiction you're convinced lies somewhere within this man's testimony. Okay, so he's You think he might be with us? The Reaper and the Assassin Exchange. I always get nervous jumping back into a trial after it's been like a few days of recording. Since my last recording, rather. Oh, I only have 2 health thingy-majiggers. That's great. Okay, so I've never taken the life of another, nor have I instructed another to kill. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years, and I was aware of Gregson's involvement. That's the reason why I went to Fresno Street that day, and how I came to discover the body. The point is, no common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson. I'm definitely going to press that. Clearly, therefore, there's no reason to suspect me of being behind the Assassin Exchange.
Hold it.
There is a link between you and Gregson, though. Of course, we were close acquaintances. We'd worked on numerous cases together. I consider the man to be a mentor of sorts. He taught me a number of important lessons. He did? Such as what? I'm not telling. Oh, music stopped. It's about to get real. Oh gosh. Where to buy good fish and chips, obviously, and such like? I mean, that is important. That's an important question. I would also want to know the best restaurants to go to. Well, that was convincing. Dr. Wilson was a coroner, of course, but that was some time in the past. And in any case, I understand it was several years ago now that he was invited to work at a Japanese university. That's right. He was a visiting professor at the Imperial Yume University in Tokyo. It should be unambiguously clear, then, that no link exists between myself and him. In other words, I had no motive for sending some assassin across the oceans to kill the man. It sounds plausible enough, and I want to believe it. Something about this just doesn't quite sit right with me. The way Ryunosuke said that, it makes it seem like I have to do something there. Maybe present something. But... so we'd want to prove some kind of connection between... between the 3 of them. Gregson, Van Zykes, and Wilson? I just don't know if we have anything, per se. This autopsy report... it's signed by... oh, maybe this! Because this is Clint's autopsy report. That might be it. Right? Although Gregson has nothing to do with that, right? Let me just read it again. But that would definitely connect him to Wilson. But does this have anything to do with let's see. Oh wait, I think it does have to do... he was the one who... that's right, Gregson was the one who convinced them to do the autopsy in the first place, right? Let me see if it says that in here. Yeah, there we go, this has gotta be it. I'm gonna take a gamble. Yeah, it's gotta be that. All of them are mentioned in that. Van Zykes' brother, John H. Wilson, was the coroner, and Gregson, you know, got them to do the not coronation, what would you call it? You know, the autopsy. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Objection.
There we go.
What is this, an autopsy report? Wait, this is 10 years old. From the autopsy of Lord Clint Van Zykes. What? My brother's autopsy report?
I'm pleased to see the defense doesn't intend to run from the undeniable truth. That's right. It's been a few days, but I still got it.
Order in court. Everybody shut up. What reason do you have for presenting a 10-year-old autopsy report here, counsel?
This, the autopsy report of the professor's final victim, is an indelible link between Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson, and the defendant. Not that accursed name again. The professor. How it makes my blood boil. I personally researched all the court records relating to that case. I know that at the time, autopsy was considered sacrilege to the victim's souls. And for a member of the aristocracy like Lord Clint Van Zykes, It was unthinkable. But someone implored the powers that be to allow the autopsy to go ahead. Inspector Gregson. He declared that he was certain he would obtain conclusive proof from the procedure. And it was Dr. Wilson who conducted the autopsy. His signature is clearly visible on the document. As promised by Gregson, the autopsy did indeed produce evidence. Evidence that conclusively proved Genshin Asage was guilty of the murders. In my brother's dying moments, he mustered all his remaining strength to leave that vital clue behind. You also left a will, right? I don't know if that'll come into play soon.
Indeed, that was the key to indicting the professor for his crimes and the conclusive evidence that convicted him. It enabled Lord Van Zexhair to avenge his brother's senseless death with a marvelous victory in court.
How touching. A marvelous victory, was it? I wonder if that's really true. Oh. What? What are you getting at, Kazuma? Could the same be said if it turned out that the key piece of evidence in question was in fact fabricated? If the inspector, the coroner, and the prosecutor all colluded together to cast an innocent Japanese man as a mass murderer and sent him to his death? Oh, that's outrageous. Ooh, could you imagine? And now 10 years later, for some reason, the secret has been threatened and needs protecting. Which is why the inspector and the coroner had to be silenced, isn't it? Oh, wow. I mean, that does make a bit of sense. By someone in power in Japan and in Britain, using the two killers recruited for the assassin exchange. I'm intrigued.
Order at once!
10 years ago, my father was convicted in this very courtroom as a mass murderer, to be sentenced to death. Also, could you imagine if Kazuma... That would give Kazuma more of a reason to want some kind of revenge or justice or whatever, if his father was completely innocent. And maybe Kazuma's been aware of that fact, or at least been pretty sure of it this whole time. Dang. But it was all a sham, and I swore to myself that I'd prove it. Which is why I had to come to Britain. Whatever the cost. Van Zyx is like, don't care. What are we talking about again? You'll have to forgive me if I feel compelled to toast this vengeful Nipponese's tenacity of purpose here. However,
you're full of crap!
He who fails to quash his emotions in the courtroom has failed as a lawyer. Come on, Kazuma! You know this won't wash. You're claiming your father was misrepresented in a trial that took place a whole decade ago? You must see that without evidence there's nothing more than a wild accusation. Oh, wow. Minos is getting up in there. As it happens, I have evidence. What? Do tell. As the court has heard, I crossed the channel to France with Gregson on the 31st. I went with him on the pretext of being the assassin recruited to kill Seishiro Jigoku. My true intentions were to make the inspector tell me the truth. What truth? The truth about the evidence, and he acknowledged what I'd already deduced. There's a closely guarded secret about what went on in the autopsy 10 years ago. Let me just see something. We don't have the will, do we? Oh, yeah, we do have the Asagi papers. Did it make mention or allude to any of this? He says he regrets nothing. He did leave, his possessions and wealth to Kazuma, so maybe there was something in his possessions that, like, proved his innocence? Kazuma said he has evidence, so hopefully he presents something. What? Or secret? I know nothing of any secret. While we waited for my supposed mark in Jigoku's cabin, I drew my clan's illustrious sword Karama before the inspector's eyes. Yes, we know that. He very quickly understood what my true motive was.
Right, I see. You're that husky young lad, are you? And what? You're gonna cut me down with that thing, is that it?
Yes. That'll very much depend on the answers you give to my questions. I want to know what really happened 10 years ago. The truth. That's all.
Before we get into it, let me make one thing clear. I still believe your father was the professor. There's no doubt in my mind. But unfortunately, back then, we didn't have the evidence we needed to make the crime stick.
Oh gosh, so they really thought it was him. And so since they didn't have the evidence, they fabricated it? That's messed up. So you admit it then. The evidence used in my father's trial was fabricated.
It was for the good of the country. That should be good enough. Anyway, I was just following orders.
Orders? What exactly did you do? Speak.
I'm not saying another word.
Even if your life depends on it?
That's right. Even then.
Oh, he is... Shing! That's why when you hit the case, hit the trunk. So that's when the tip of the sword broke. Oh, Kazuma-sama. If the result of Clint Van Zyke's autopsy were fabricated, then the investigation officer Gregson and the lead coroner Wilson must have known about it. And they can only have been ordered to pervert the course of justice in that way by one man. The man leading the case for the prosecution, Barak von Zykes.
In other words, the defendant did have cause to organize this exchange of assassins.
Exactly. And as was established earlier, it has to have been the Reaper himself who... I always have trouble saying this word. Liaised with Jigoku to Japan to arrange the exchange. Ah. So it follows that the Reaper's true identity can only be that of the man that stands accused in this courtroom today, Barak von Zykes. I don't believe it.
You lie.
Objection.
I mean, it makes sense, but... Kazuma Asagi. What? Well, you just told the court. Were you absolutely certain of your facts? Did Gregson really fabricate evidence for that trial 10 years ago? I heard it with my own ears. His shameful admission. He seems to not know anything about it. He seemed genuinely surprised, maybe? In that case, I know. The name of the Reaper. What? What? Lord Van Zykes? Okay, let me think. I gave no such orders. I know that for certain. Which narrows down the remaining possibilities to one. If Lord Van Zykes isn't the one behind all this, then yes. There's only one other person who could have done something like that. I believe I know who it is too. You. I just had a feeling this name is going to come up. Oh my gosh! Save! Save! Save. I don't know what they're getting at. Can I go back? Let me see. Let's see. I don't know how far to even go back. Did of course organize this exchange. It has to have been the Reaper himself who liaised with Jigoku in Japan to arrange the exchange. Did Gregson really fabricate the evidence for that trial 10 years ago? That's what Van Zykes asks. I mean, I'm tempted to just go with my gut, because I'm really not sure. Based on what they're giving me. But I've been saying all along that just my gut tells me it's Strongheart. Not even my gut. It makes sense because of how shady he's been, and he's been... Wait, is Strongheart even here? Oh, he's right here. I went by 3 times and missed him for some reason. Yeah, I mean, that's... He was my top suspect. I had said Caden, but I really don't think it's Caden. I don't know why Mikitoba came out of nowhere, just because he was one of the visiting students. I am gonna go... I'm gonna try it. The music stopped. The only person who could have arranged the assassin exchange and manipulated the autopsy results is the Lord Chief Justice himself, Lord Male Strongheart. What? Lord Strongheart? I think I'm right. Strongheart. Yes, it's true that 10 years ago, the defendant handled the prosecution of the professor in court. But he only took over the case after his brother, Lord Clint Van Zykes, had been killed.
I can only assume that this is the most inappropriate joke in British judicial history.
Okay, you're very intimidating, but it won't change my mind. Well, Lord Van Zykes? 10 years ago, I was very new to my profession. But I had a burning desire to avenge my brother's death, so I pleaded for control of the case. The investigation to that point, the supplication of the Lord to allow my brother's corpse to be examined, all the evidence that was given, the autopsy reports, it all came from you. It makes sense. Like I said, don't trust the people in power in these games. The high and mighty, the all-powerful, they're usually corrupt in these Ace Attorney games. I've spent my life since then believing I was in your debt for the way you stood aside and let me handle the trial. But I see now. I was very much mistaken. It was a hugely influential force that caused the inspector and the coroner to break the law 10 years ago. So he ordered them to do it. And that same force was still felt a decade later on the other side of the world by Seishiro Jigoku. Lord Strongheart, everything falls into place when we recognize that you are the Reaper of the Bailey.
You're forgetting I have the power to blow up your health bar. You'd lose. Look my boot, Strongheart. Look it now. The court awaits your response, my lord. This may very well go down in British judicial history, but I assure you, it is no joke. Consider this a formal accusal by the defense. Van Zykes, that's my job, but I agree. It doesn't warrant a response. I'm the judge here.
This is getting so intense.
A formal accusal? Don't be absurd. The defense's claims are utter nonsense. A wild fantasy at best.
You're not going to defend yourself?
I don't have to. You claim there was some wrongdoing with Lord Clint Van Zykes' autopsy? That's utterly untrue.
Objection.
Bull crap. But I heard it from Gregson's own lips. He admitted to it. Unfortunately, Kazuma, that's not really evidence, because you're the only one who heard it. You could be making it up. I believe you, but... Yeah, exactly.
And where is your evidence?
What?
Gregson's dead now, unless you were thinking of summoning a ghost to the stand.
Darn it, we don't have any spirit mediums in this game, do we? Where's Maya when you need her? You mean to say?
I forget how the system works in your little backwater country.
Everyone's racist in this game,
But in the courts of the British Empire, without evidence there is no case. I have no intention of entertaining some wild fantasy that can't possibly be substantiated by anyone or anything. Ah!
So I love the shots where he like stands up. He already has such an imposing figure, but then when he stands up and the camera's like pointing upwards at him.
Order in court. Following Inspector Gregson's murder, and in light of Dr. Wilson's death as well, there's really no one left who could testify about the events of 10 years ago, is there?
So that was the real purpose of the assassin exchange.
This court has no business raking over the coals of a case that was concluded a decade ago.
So it's to get rid of the conspirators, basically.
The accusal brought by the prosecution and the defense is categorically denied. And I'm the judge, so I can do that. I take it there are no objections?
I object. Kazuma. He's more or less waited his whole life for this moment. Is there really nothing else we can do now? Is there no other avenue we can go down in pursuit of the truth about what happened all those years ago? Think, Ryunosuke. If only there was someone who could testify about Clint Van Zykes' autopsy. I mean, there is... Hang on. Wait a minute, sorry, that's Gregson's. Go back to Clint's autopsy. Well, we know the coroner was John H. Wilson, who's dead. But wait, we know John H. Wilson... whatchamacallit? John H. Wilson wrote, but who... It was Mikitoba, though, who actually wrote it, right? We established that, so maybe Mikitoba. I'm assuming sorry, I just want to check. I'm assuming I have him in here, right? I should have every character, yeah. Right there. Hopefully I'm remembering that right. There is someone. He's gone to extraordinary lengths to cover his tracks. Even so far as dispatching an assassin all the way to Japan to ensure Dr. Wilson's silence. And Dr. Scythe won't say anything against Strongheart. But, there's still one ray of hope. I'm ready to come in clutch. Actually, there is one person. One person who could still testify about that autopsy.
Don't be ridiculous. There's no one left.
You think so? Who, Ryunosuke? Who? Tell me. Kazuma, Please, this trial can't end. Not yet. We're besties. Anything for you, Kazuma. I'm not doing this for you. Okay, never mind, I take that back. I'm doing it for the truth. He's like, whatever, good enough for me. Just say it. The person that the defense would like to call to the stand to testify about the autopsy of Lord Clint Van Zykes is... I hope I'm right, Mikitoba.
Take that! Heaven help us! Another Japanese? Ugh, I'm not even hiding my racist tendencies anymore.
An expert in forensic medicine, my lord, Professor Eugen Mikitoba. 16 years ago, he came to London with Seishiro Jigoku and Genshin Asuki as a visiting student.
And what could his testimony possibly tell us?
Professor Mikitoba was the primary assistant during the autopsy in question. And he's also my father, so lay off. Back off if you know what's good for you. He was also the person who actually penned the report.
Incorrect. The autopsy was carried out by the coroner, Dr. Wilson. The report carries his signature.
It was the primary assistant's duty to keep a written record of the coroner's work during the procedure. In actual fact, the coroner merely read over the report at the end and signed it. In other words, Professor Mikitoba witnessed the entire autopsy from start to finish. The defense demand that Professor Mikitoba be summoned as a witness as a matter of urgency. Whatever really happened in that autopsy laboratory 10 years ago is something only he can tell us.
Don't care. The defense's demand is denied.
What? He's the judge. He can do whatever he wants. But Professor Mikitoba is in London at this very moment. We could summon him to the stand in minutes.
Don't care.
No, of course he's not going to agree to it. Strongheart has no intention of summoning anyone who knows. He went through the trouble of making this a closed court so there's no judiciary, or no jury, rather. He's covering his tracks well. He's too concerned about protecting himself.
Prosecutor Osugi, let me refresh your memory, as you seem to have forgotten the prosecution's stance. Only minutes ago, you accused the defendant of being the Reaper and of masterminding the assassin exchange.
I did, yes.
So present your evidence for those claims, and make your case complete.
Don't listen to him, Kazuma. At this time, I don't have the requisite evidence, but that's exactly why I need witness testimony.
Don't make me beat you over the head with this. The professor case is closed. There were no clues in the distant past that will bolster your argument today. I'm afraid to say, Prosecutor Osugi, that you would appear to be possessed by the spirit of your late homicidal father.
Oh, that's a low blow.
Now, as I stated earlier, this court has already reached a conclusion with respect to the matter at hand. Inspector Gregson was murdered by Japanese Supreme Court Judge Seishiro Jigoku. As for any hidden circumstances that may exist, they will be investigated in due course by the proper authorities. Me.
I mean, he's technically right. This is Gregson's trial, and we know Judge Jigoku did it, unless we find out he didn't. But he might have been ordered to by Strongheart. But we all know what will happen. That'll just give the mastermind of the whole venture time to cover his tracks again.
By which you mean me? Ha! Your punishment for this contemptible behavior will be decided at a later date. As for you, Prosecutor Osugi, you will be remanded following these proceedings. Willingly, I trust, since you gave your word. This
guy's a scumbag.
This futile game of revenge is over, young Master Osugi.
Oh man.
Grr.
Kazuma feels hopeless. He doesn't know what to do.
That will be all. I hereby declare this trial to be over.
Who is that? Is Mikatoba here? Aha! It is I! Here to save the day! Mr. Sholmes!
This is no place for amateur detection, Mr. Sholmes. May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave the courtroom at once.
I make my own rules. Aha! Mr. Sholmes was instrumental in the apprehension of Seishiro Jigoku before he fled from Europe. The court should hear what he has to say. Lord Mayor Strongheart, it's imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage.
Is it really? And why would that be?
You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question, if I may. I don't remember that long ago. I will be using my best Strongheart impression.
We will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings.
Do you remember saying that? Surely it can't be. That the shock of being accused of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it?
Shut up! The whole truth, sir, has already been uncovered.
It would seem that we have many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellows, should the trial end at this juncture? After all, why have you been invited to attend? To nod along to the prevarications of your superiors. Come on. Side with us.
Order! Order in court!
It seems to me that we stand before a door that leads to a new era of legal practices. A door that is ajar. Let us emerge from the shadow of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. For you and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now. I never thought I'd say this, but preach, Sholmes, preach.
The auditors in the gallery have no right to express an opinion in court proceedings. Silence!
They don't care. He's right. The judge has absolute authority here. Yes, if he calls the trial to an end, it must end. But will that really do?
I sense dark things occurring behind the scenes. Dark things indeed.
Is there a single person here present who can honestly blah 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 blah? What? What's... They seem like they're siding with him, mostly. The trial should go on. Summon the witness! That's right! We need to clear this up before the young Japanese fellow is remanded in custody. Oh. He's gaining his composure. Is that hope I feel? My lord, you ensure those present that you would uncover the whole truth here.
Vindicate yourself with this outlandish accusation.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's the very foundation of British law. A toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery. Drinks all around. On with the trial!
Yeah.
Music to my ears. Well, my lord? You hear the voices of British justice, I take it? I think you'll find it would be rather awkward to silence.
Oh, what the hell? The court will recess briefly. I have no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Bailiff, arrange for the subpoena of the witness at once. As soon as the gentleman arrives at the courthouse, we shall reconvene.
A recess won't be necessary, my lord.
Pardon?
Oh, okay. Mikatoba is a close friend of mine. He accompanied me today and is waiting in the antechamber as we speak. I do believe he's been enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact. What? Professor Mikatoba is here in the courthouse? Bring him up. Mr. Sholmes, you actually thought of everything, for once. You didn't know this would happen, did you? My dear fellow, no one is in a better position to answer that question than you, surely. I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, you know.
Well, I must thank you for your assistance in this matter. Mr. Sholmes, I mean that sincerely. However, you have no further use here. Kindly leave the courtroom at once.
My work is done, aha! But of course, in truth, I found myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Mr. Naruhodo, always a pleasure. Yes? I trust you have Iris's little lucky charm with you? Absolutely. It's still in my pocket. Ooh, we're gonna have another investigation or something? She sends her regards and a reminder. If you find yourself at a dead end, the ears are at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please. Oh, of course. Okay, we're definitely gonna be using that again. Sweet.
Enough. In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand.
So it's Lord Strongheart. He's the Reaper of the Bailey. Where exactly is this trial going to take me, I wonder? Just how deep am I about to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to head into the heart of this maelstrom. This maelstrom. Get it? Because that's his middle name? Anyway. And confront whatever horrors it tries to drown me under. To be continued. Well, this is getting super intense. I mean, the trial's been intense. It's been ramping up and ramping up and ramping up and ramping up, and here we are. So, I was right about Strongheart. I don't want to make it sound like, I know I said earlier, like, I just had a gut feeling like that's all it was. It wasn't just that, like, Strongheart has been clearly pulling the strings behind the scenes, just, even if I didn't know why he was doing what he was doing, like, he was the one who, put Cosma as a Van Zykes' assistant, for example. He's just been, he's been cooperative and doing things behind the scenes that were a bit shady, and like I said, it makes sense, being the Chief Justice, that he'd be in a position of power to kind of, influence move the pieces, as it were, and influence the assassins and whatnot. So it just made sense. Out of everybody I could think of. But yeah, that was a really cool moment seeing the judiciary just like come together and just like testify, because at the end of the day, he's the judge. He had the power to end it all, like to just be like this trial ends here, but but since like the whole courtroom is calling for testimony, that would look really bad on his part, and also make him look really, really guilty, more than he already did if he if he tried to end the trial that abruptly. So anyway, I'm really excited. I know this is a bit of a shorter episode. I try and time these as best as I can, but I like ending when there's a to be continued. And like I said, if the to be continued happened like 20 minutes into recording, I would definitely keep going. But right now we're over 40, so I figure a shorter episode now and then is not bad. And then we'll pick up next time with a renewed mind, and I'll be ready to go after Strongheart and pin him to the wall. I'm really excited. This is probably the last part, I would imagine. So I don't know how many episodes total it'll be. I might be able to split this last trial into 2 parts, and if I can do that, then yeah, it might just be 2 more episodes, 3 tops. And then, like I said, I'm gonna be playing the or I don't know if you'd say playing, going through the escapades, those little mini shorts or whatever on the bonus screen. So yeah, there's still more Ace Attorney, but I'm excited to get to the end of this, but I'm also sad that this 2-game journey that feels like I've been playing this for a year. I think I took a little break between the first and the second one, so yeah, it's been a long ride, and it's sad to see it come to an end. I hope we get more Ace Attorney games that I can play on the channel. But yeah, we're not done yet. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button if you would. Hit the notification bell as well, so you know when the rest of the series goes up. And subscribe to the channel. That would really, really help me out. And of course, share the video and the channel with your friends, family, and loved ones. I really do appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. So take care, and bye-bye.